Hello everybody, Yom Tov. I know it's Tuesday and it's a day late, but if you bear with me and I'll explain why. For those of you that know, that have been talking to me over the past week to couple of weeks, I've been complaining of a particularly bad headache, but on one side of my head. So it's been gradually really getting bad, coming and going and coming and going. Normal level of painkillers just weren't seen to want to shift it. So what with the present crisis, the way that it is, and not being able to access a doctor properly, I was able to have a video consultation with one of the doctors at the surgery. And before ringing them up, I'd gone online, and I know it's one of the worst things you can do, like self-diagnose. But it's not like the old days where you picked up the medical dictionary and before you knew where you were. You had beriberi or, Ebola or something stupid like that. What I did is I went in and I put in various symptoms, and it came up with two things. One, it's either a cluster headache, which I've never had before, but this has been going like pretty strong for the last couple of weeks. And it's just concerning this part here to down across my eye, and then so it's a bit of a soft triangle, right? But when I lift you know how you go to push up your eyebrows, which I'm not going to do now because it's going to be very uncomfortable. But when when you raise your eyebrows in surprise or something like that, when I do it quite strongly, as if I was in shock or something, or found something shocking, then, I'd normally raise my eyebrows and I'd never think anything more about it. When I do it now, it's painful. So anyway, it's either cluster headaches, which would be a reddish eye, which I do have. It's not conjunctivitis, because I know that's pretty well. Feeling a heaviness around the eye and the forehead. Really, really stabbing, piercing pain in the head. Having a really sweaty face, which I have had. I'm trying to think the other things. Oh yes, the fibro sniffles, but only mainly out of one side of the nose. So that's been another symptom. So I was talking to the doctor about this, and then I said to her, she said, had had anything like this in the past? And I said, she was asking when I got the headaches, and I said, well, they're literally first thing in the morning when I wake up. And she went, right. And I said, of course, it reminds me of when I had all the tests done and it came back that I had intracranial hypertension. But this was 20 years ago. I had too much fluid. It was cerebral spinal fluid around my brain. On the first lumbar puncture they got 38 mils, which apparently is pretty high. So anyway, that was dealt with over the space of 2 lumbar punctures. Of course, they don't warn you about the post-lumbar puncture headache, which feels like you've got a brass band inside your head, minus the trumpets, it's just the drums. So anyway, it turns out that if you normally have the lumbar puncture treatment, in most cases, you'll have that treatment over 1 or 2 occasions like I did, and then it goes away. But there are some rare occasions where it returns. So the first thing she said was, you need to go to hospital, because then they'll give you a CT scan. Possibly, then and there MRI. just to see what's going on. And I said, I can't go to the hospital. I mean, the crisis at the moment. And she said, well, I'm sure they'll try and keep you separated from the people who have this condition, current condition, which I don't want to say, and please can you not say it in the comments, because you know the drill by now. And I said, look, I said, I'm going to be completely honest with you. My family has been tremendously lucky that we have all been safe these last few weeks. And it would be just my luck to go in and then be beside someone who has the condition. I end up getting it, coming home and passing it on to my family. It's too big a risk to take. You know, we have kept to the rules. You know, whenever we've gone out, you know, and I've driven the car, I've never even got out the car. But the family's gone into the shops for the essentials only. They're barely in the store 15 to 20 minutes. And most of those 15 minutes is waiting in a queue to get back out again. They're literally, you know, in like Flynn and out. And then, as I say, husband working from home. Kids are in the house. You know, we're not seeing anybody. And I'm not willing to go for this head scan while this crisis is about. Once it's over, then I'll go. But I'm not prepared to go now. And she said, right, I understand. But you've got to see it from our point of view as well. Which, yes, I do. And I said, well, look, what can I do about the pain in the meantime? And she said, well, the only thing you can do, which unfortunately it's not really that effective, is just keep with the paracetamol, ibuprofen. Because I forgot to tell her that hubby sneaks me some of his cocodamol, which I'm not really supposed to take, considering that all the other painkiller drugs I take, but it's about the only thing that sort of like pushes it to one, well, pushes it away so it's dulled. So anyway, that's why there was no appearance yesterday, because the one side of my face was so swollen I couldn't hardly even open my right eye. So I've been up all night to try and get the swelling down. I've been fairly successful with that, sort of constantly rubbing the lymph nodes around about the temples and what have you. So I've done that, and it's cold cloths and, you know, all that sort of thing. So that's why it's not just another excuse, because I've told you a lot that I want to be able to do more. It's only stupid, bloody physical stuff that stops me being here more often. I mean, I would love to be here 5 days a week because I get a buzz from it, okay? And you know I love connecting with you. We had that impromptu live stream the other night, which I had a headache at the time, but you guys helped distract me, the ones that turned up. You guys did help distract me from the pain for a while, until it got to the point where I had to say, sorry, I've got to stop. And everybody was really kind, very supportive, as you always are. But, you know, I'm not a martyr, not by any stretch of the imagination. And, you know, I'm pretty allergic to pain. Doesn't stop me having it though, but I'm pretty allergic to it, and normally my modus operandi when it comes to trying to deal with pain is, you know, obviously I don't automatically reach for the painkillers, but sometimes it can't be helped. I just have to. I try and distract myself as best I can. And if it's possible, I wanted to give you a laugh. Because, I've told you before about ways we can distract ourselves. Not just from pain or from depression or, mental health issues, no matter what they are. I know it's harder sometimes than others to distract ourselves. But, I've talked to you before about reading and listening to music and playing with my makeup and, playing on The Sims and, watching videos and, things like that. Okay? And then I'll read stuff for you guys to see what I can find stories-wise for Wednesdays and, any other time really, and for Fridays. Well, say last night, it was during the night, UK time, and I was playing The Sims. And I don't know what it was, I think I was feeling really annoyed with myself, and I knew that I couldn't help this headache, and I've never had anything like it, ever. Even the intracranial headaches weren't anything like this. So I think it was a cross between feeling sorry for myself and being annoyed with myself. And I was annoyed with myself that I didn't come and talk to you yesterday. But unfortunately, now I am unreliable. And I hate it when it's like that. But you're all very kind and you understand. But I got to a point where I put The Sims on, and I don't know whether it was just on a go slow or whether tons and tons of people were playing it all at the same time. But mine seemed to be on a particular go slow, and it kept saying, not responding. And stop, start. And I was that annoyed. I've got one of the mods that I've got on my Sims is for, what's it called? Extreme violence. And you can, assault with a deadly weapon, and you can go from literally slapping somebody across the face to, various weapons that you can kill somebody with. Well, a sim, not a person. And the videos I've been watching yesterday, some of them were all about that pair, Harry and Meghan, right? And I decided to make, as near as damn looking like them, Sims, the pair of them. And I got a sim of me fighting them. I wasn't using a deadly weapon against them. I was just, if any of you play The Sims, you'll know that when you can get into a real dust-up brawl, there's fists flying and there's like all this grey muck and everything all over the place, and people drop kicking each other, and there's bumps and bruises and what have you. Well, I am such a bad person that I want to tell you that I took great satisfaction in giving both Meghan and Harry the hidings of their lives. And, obviously you can't get your sim to say anything to them. But the air was blue in here of what I thought of them, how I felt about them, how they made me feel sick, how I was tired of seeing them everywhere. For a couple who wanted to have complete peace and quiet and living away from the click of a camera, which, as you know, hurtles Harry back to when he was 12. You know, they've gone to the most paparazzi-ridden city on the planet, where the click of the camera is, you know, something that you live with. And, you know, they've had it relatively easy because obviously California's on lockdown. But by God, once that lockdown is lifted and they go out and about, they are going to find paparazzi camped on their doorstep. They won't be able to fart without paparazzi reporting on it. I mean, she's going to never be able to have a bad hair day, you know, and he's going to have to do something about his bald patch, unless he gets a hair transplant or something, because they will rip into everything about the pair of them, and they won't leave them alone. So, but you see, for her, you know, I suppose it's any kind of exposure is good exposure to her. I don't know how he feels about anything, but he was the one who said every click of the camera sends him straight back. So why the hell they ended up in LA? I mean, I've got a fairly good idea. I think she wears the trousers in that relationship. And he just, like he said, what Meghan wants, Meghan gets. And she's got what she wanted. And apparently they've got a house now, 13 million, round the corner from Tom Hanks, I believe. Is it the Pacific Palisades? I don't know anything about that place. Apparently it's very swish. And a granny annex for Doria. Why would they have a granny annex for Doria when she's already got a big house? You know, the one she was supposed to go halves with her brother, but, you know, diddled him out of it. She's got that big house, so why does she want a granny annex? Don't know. I don't think it'll be to invite William and Kate over for a holiday, do you? Don't think that's ever going to settle itself. So anyway, that's what I did to entertain myself. And it did distract me for a while. I'm not sort of saying that everybody should go out and play in The Sims or find some kind of game where you can do people physical bodily harm, but it was just something that I just got my frustrations out on it, you know. I mean, I don't know whether any of you be interested to know, but by the time I finished with Meghan, she was feeling very sorry for herself. And Harry was crying. So how true to life that is, I have no idea. And you know what? Neither do I care. Because I don't care. But that was what I did. And so I don't know how motivational that is for you. But it's something else that you could do, I suppose. I mean, there's if you do play on The Sims, you can get people who have made lookalikes for celebrities, and you can, you know, download one of their celebrities, and if you don't like them, you could give them a good slap. You know, there's somebody, you know, celebrity-wise that you don't like, give them a slap, or you can kick them, or pick a fight with them, or, you know, because they've got witches on there, you can cast spells on them, turn them into frogs, you know, man-eating plants, that sort of thing. That's quite amusing. But yeah, that's basically what I did. I'm trying to keep an eye on the time here, so that I get time on with you. Now, here's the other thing that I wanted to discuss with you. When we had the live stream the other night, and I was talking about bringing back Gypsy Rose Hedder to do her version of live tarot readings. Now, obviously, these, it's purely for comedic purposes only, entertainment purposes only, and allegedly, however the saying goes. But for those of you who don't know who Gypsy Rose Hedder is, I've made a couple of videos, would have been this time last year, I think, of a character that I play, and I sort of put a shawl over my head, and I got my crystal goblet, which is Gypsy Rose Hedder's Goblet of Fortune. Now, Gypsy Rose Hedder has her own special way of reading the tarot, and she sort of, her persona is that she believes she's got a gift. She believes she's really talented, and she's definitely got her own way of reading the tarot. Now, not to besmirch the tarot, because I love my tarot, but I do have a set of tarot cards. I would never use my own personal favourite deck, where I do private readings for people. And I don't charge everything, it's free. I've been doing it for many, many years. People come to me and ask me if I would read for them, and I do. Everything's strictly confidential. I never break a confidence. But I've got a special deck that I would never use for comedic purposes. But I bought a new deck recently, which is sort of part tarot, part oracle, and I'm thinking of using that one. And it's the deck itself it's very, very positive. It's always focuses on the positive. It doesn't focus on anything negative, which is what I prefer, because when I read the cards, I don't read them in reverse. I always read things from the positive, because I like to come to reading things from a positive aspect. So I've got this particular deck, which I'm thinking of using for Gypsy Rose Hedder, doing live tarot readings, and I want to do it tonight. So if any of you are interested, I will be going live tonight on YouTube, because I can't get Facebook to work for me at the moment. I don't know why, but it just won't. So I'm going to be going live tonight. I would imagine it's going to be, I'm trying to think of the time, because I don't want the stream to last longer than a couple of hours. I'm just trying to see how things go up here. The thing is, once everybody gets talking, the time flies by so quickly. Have you found that? Because I do, and then before you know it, people are saying bye-bye, and then people are just turning up, and I feel awful because I'm only getting to see them for a couple of minutes, and then I'm off to go. But if you are interested, so we can have a bit of a laugh, I would like to bring back Gypsy Rose Hedder for you tonight. And if we say, how about 11 p.m. UK time, I think, would that be 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time? And it could go on for, say, 2 hours. And hopefully a few of you will turn up and we're going to have some laughs. Are you up for that? I'll put it on Twitter. I'm telling you all here. And I would love to see as many of you would love to turn up. And, you know, we can just have some laughs. Ask silly questions. And I can guarantee you that Gypsy Rose Header will give you as funny an answer as I can possibly come up with. Keep in mind, I am not a natural comedian. I'm just going to go with the flow, and hopefully I can make you laugh, because I think it's something that we all dearly need. You know, I'm not a great motivational speaker. I speak from here. I don't speak from up here. It's all from here. And sometimes I get angry about things and I get carried away, and other times I just tell you things that have happened to me and how I've had to deal with it, or how I've managed to deal with it. People have said that they find it motivational, and I'm stunned, because it's just me talking about things that have happened to me. And when it comes to certain situations, it always sounds like me, but there's certain situations where my only point of reference is me. But if something I've gone through helps somebody else, then it's all worthwhile, isn't it? It really is all worthwhile. I can hear my cat crying. Hello. Do you want to come up? Some of you may have seen him in the spooky video, not last week, but the week before, where he came up and sat in my lap for a while and proceeded to dribble all the way down my arm, which is what he does when he's really, really happy. Do you want to come up? Do you want to come up? Come on then. Do you want to say hello? Come on. There we go. There's Pussycat. This is Pharaoh. For those of you who haven't met him before, there he is. Hello. Hello. Who's my big boy? Pharaoh. Oh, down. Okay, bye. There. He's got hair all over my face now because he's molting a little bit. But that was Pharaoh. So I hope you liked him. Right, guys, I'm going to go now, and I will hopefully see the rest of you in about 5 hours' time. And we'll have a few laughs. So until then, I love you all, and I hope you're still, keeping the rules and staying safe, because, we're heading for that finishing line. Boris is going to come out with a statement for the UK on Thursday, hopefully to tell us that he's going to start lifting some of the restrictions. I would like to think so. For someone who's practically housebound, it sounds daft asking for restrictions that we can go out, but at least it means that if we can maybe still do the social distancing thing, but it means that hubby and I could go around the corner and maybe get some plants, and I could, do some container gardening. That would be nice. That's a distraction for me. So we can work something out, I'm sure. But in all good conscience, I couldn't do it now. As much as I want to, I couldn't do it now, because it would be wrong. But anyway, that's just me. Right, I shall see you later, guys. Take care. Love you. Talk to you later. Bye. Bye-bye.